Welcome to Touchline. I'm your host, Anthony Totera, coming to you again from the Soccer Hall of Fame. And we are here with Region 4 team members. Young man, what is your name?
Ethan.
Ethan, what a day out there. It was windy. It was cold. You wanted to display your talents. Were you feeling nervous before the game started today?
Yeah, a lot. It was really nervous, but it was fun at the end and during it, yeah.
Talk about fun. You got a coach that's very fun, Patrick Tobo, and he likes to have fun, but he's also very serious out there, and he wants what he teaches you in practice to display it out there in game action. Talk about Coach Patrick Tobo.
Yeah, you have to perform, but if you don't, he'll be happy if you perform, but if you don't do that great, he'll take you off, and you have to really perform out there.
That's good to understand. Now, talk about some of your teammates are from the same club, Pickering, and that's good to know, and that's good to have because you understand each other on the field. How did that work for you on the field today that you understood each other?
Well, it was great because I know Johnny over there, Patrick, and I'm used to playing with them and how we play together. We just play great together. It's great. And some new players like Dwayne over here, we all cope together.
Well said. Now talk about your club, Pickering, and the coach that's helped you get to where you're at today. What is his name?
Patrick Boyle, his father. He's a great coach. He played for the Canadian national team. He's helped us a lot technical-wise and just a great coach. Overall, he's great. And yeah, I have tons of players like Johnny, Patrick, and many others on the region.
Well said. Young man, what is your name?
I am Patrick.
Now, we heard so much about your dad, and that is a great individual, great influence on your life to help you from a small age all the way up. But first of all, let's talk about the games that just took place today so far. The weather played a big part, but you guys, for the most part, kept the ball on the ground, and that's what Coach Patrick Tobo likes. Talk about how he instills that in your head.
Well, he doesn't really like us to put the ball in the air because I don't know really why, but it's better to keep the ball moving on the ground. So, yeah.
And that's the way it should be played, always on the ground. Let's talk about, again, your club, Pickering. And there's a lot of great clubs up in your area. Pickering, Ajax, you name it. There's a lot of great clubs out there. Talk about how your dad, your coach, has helped you get to this point.
Well, he tells me the things I need to work on and what I should do, outside. And he tells me what I should work on, my first touch, my passing, my shooting, and yeah.
Now, did Coach Patrick warn you guys about some of the stronger regions out there? Did he prepare you to say, watch out for this region? Or did he tell you basically, look, show what you have, display your talents out there, but play as a team?
He said it doesn't matter what the team is. It doesn't matter if you win or not. I just want to see you play good, and I just want to see you do your best.
Well said. Young man, what is your name?
Dwayne.
Dwayne, talk about that. You were shaking your head when I talked about displaying your talent, displaying the great talent that you have out there. What position do you play?
Midfield and striker.
So do you play that with your team as well?
Yes.
So that must have been an easy transition for you. If you played that at the club level and you're playing it here, it must have been easy for you to display what you have out there.
Yeah.
Talk about Coach Patrick Tobo again. He's a big influence on you. He's helped you. But also from your club, is there a coach that helped you get to where you're at today?
Yeah, Coach Howard. He did some off-the-ball training, one-on-one with me. It was good.
That's good to hear. Young man, what is your name?
Jonathan.
Jonathan, talk about, again, out there being today. Were you nervous before the game started? Were you tense? You see all the coaches out there watching you. How did you feel?
I felt nervous.
Talk about the other team that you just played. They had a lot of good players out there from that region, and they brought it to you.
They were tall and strong. They do good body position. Yeah.
And that's good to see at this age, young men. At your ages, there's a lot of hype, but there's also a lot of intelligence in playing the game. And I got to tell you, talking to all your coaches, this age group, they're very impressed. What can you attribute that to?
Well, we do a lot of technical stuff like futsal and everything that help develop at young ages. So I guess that contribute to being great at our age.
Interesting. You mentioned futsal. Well, the last question will be to you is that a lot of kids don't like to play futsal. Did you enjoy it?
It's all right, but I'd rather play outside and learn technical skills outside. But futsal just helps when it's in the winter and everything. It's all the technical skills, touching the ball. It helps a lot.
Well said. Young men, good luck, and hopefully you can represent the great province of Ontario, but more importantly, one day represent the great country of Canada. Keep up the good work, and Coach Patrick Tobo always keeps his eyes and ears open for good talent like yourselves. Keep up the good work, guys.
Mohamed, that's much better, okay?
As the pass comes, Welcome to Touchline. We're here with Region 4 coach Patrick Tobel. Patrick, the weather this week is much different than last week when the girls were here at the ID tourney. Talk about how the weather has played a big part so far.
Oh, I don't know where we can put this weather, but it's part of life. We have just to be able to deal with that. It's really cool and it's hard for this kid to be assessed or to perform in the best ability.
Now, Patrick, the wind is out here. It's howling, so you want to play the ball on the ground more and more if possible because the ball is going to be traveling all over.
Oh, yes, but now it's hard and it's a process of learning. Maybe this kid are going to be able to adjust in the future and see how to play when you have some condition like this, but it's really hard with the wind.
Patrick, you already have in your mind some players that you really want to Brian Rosenfeld and a lot of the staff to look at carefully. Have you informed us of the players you want them to look at as they're watching the games?
Like no, all these players we're looking at them, but we want first those able to play about the technique, about the decision making, and the passion is what we're looking. Those are going to show because we have all these players on the radar. In the end, we're going to be able to select those with those ability.
Last question is this, Patrick. I understand you love communication with your players. All the teams you've ever coached, communication is very important to you. At this age, how important is even more communication than, let's say, at the age of 19, 20 and older?
Oh, I think at this age, with communication that build a good relationship between player and the coach and the confidence. We have to understand that we don't have a perfect player. They're still 12, 13 years. Just let them believe that they have a potential and be able to guide them to build their own confidence and to understand what they need to do. We have to get an open mind and sometimes listen what they're saying. Maybe the communication are going to be there and they're going to be able to express themselves, and we have to take that in consideration.
Patrick, at this age bracket, it looks like to me, I've watched a lot of these players and I've coached some of them. The future looks bright for Ontario and hopefully for Canada.
Oh, yes, absolutely. A lot of talent, more to come in. We see more talent. They have just to be in the right environment to be able to have a good future generation.
Patrick Tobel, keep up the good work. Most importantly, keep laughing, keep having fun out there, and making sure that the kids learn and listen to you.
Thank you, Anthony.
Patrick Tobel, Region 4 coach here again at the ID tourney. Welcome to Touchline. I'm your host, Anthony Toter, once again here in the Soccer Hall of Fame, and we're with Region 3 coach Joe. What a day. We're indoors today. That weather has really played a part in the games. Talk about that weather and how it's played a part so far.
Well, every time you're playing in conditions like that, the wind is always a factor. It doesn't let you play certain balls that you like. So our instructions were to keep the ball on the ground as much as possible, take the wind out of the equation, and just play the ball and just let the ball do the work.
Joe, I mentioned to you as we were getting ready for this interview, for the first time in a long time, your region is stocked and loaded with talented young men and guys that can play the game. And they're mentally sound, physically sound. And now the job is up to you and all the staff to find out who are the gems on this team. How do you go about doing that?
Well, from this particular region, it's just going out, scouting and getting the best players that can play, getting them together, bring them in together once a week, working on certain technical aspects. And then as we got closer to this weekend, working on tactical aspects and stuff like that, trying to get the group to work as a team as much as we could together.
Now, you brought 3 young players here, 3 guys that I know quite well. I had an opportunity to coach these young men. Your name, sir, I know your name, but let the viewers out there know your name.
My name is Mikola Nichiparuk.
Nicola, let's talk about, first of all, playing the other regions that you've played so far. Some of the regions that I saw were physical, but your region is more playing with the ball and more distributing on the flanks. Talk about your responsibility and how Coach Joe has helped you along the way.
Well, I play as a center mid, and Joe helped me, create more chances, pass the ball where I should, learn all these new turns and stuff, check my shoulder, pass the ball faster.
Well said. Young man, I know your name, Vlad. You took a tumble there. Are you okay, first of all?
Yeah, I'm fine. At first, my head was hurting, but now it's mostly my neck, though.
That's good to hear. That's good news because I know you want to get back out there and display your talents. What position do you play?
I play striker.
And which club are you with?
I'm with North Toronto Nitros right now.
And that's a club that has gone up in the rise. Talk about your club and the coaching you've gotten there, because I know that the coaching is so important to you and to your teammates. You've gotten great coaching along the way to get here.
Well, I decided to go to North Toronto because I know the coach from district, and I really like him a lot, and I enjoy being there and being coached by him.
And he's a coach that lets the players express themselves. He doesn't yell and scream and just go crazy on the sidelines. He lets you play your game. Am I not right?
Yeah, you're right.
Now, I know this young man. I've coached this young man, Makai Charles. Nice goal out there, first of all. What a feeling it must be to get that first goal for your region.
Yeah, it was very nice. After one of my players tripped, I got the ball, scored.
Now, Makai, let's talk about the game out there today. It was windy, it was cold, and you could tell that the ball needed to be played on the ground and less in the air. How did you adapt to that condition out there?
It was hard to play in the air sometimes, but I got used to it. Just played the ball, moved it quickly. It was fine.
Now, young fellows, I know it's quite important, the ball movement in a game, but also the mental part of the game, Mikola. Talk about how you guys talk to one another and communication, how it's important out there.
Well, we're in the when we are in the change room changing, we talk about the game, how we're gonna play. We help each other out during the game and before, like what our mistakes were before the game, and also we talk how we prepared before the game, like what we ate, how like do we go to sleep early. So it's all important things.
Well said. Coach Joe, I saw you gotten a little bit heated on the sidelines. You weren't seeing the things that you were teaching some of your players throughout the game, and that's something that you instill in your players, that what you're teaching on the practice time, you want to transfer it in game time. How do you go about now fixing some of the things you saw you didn't like in these first few games?
Well, it was more, it's not that they weren't doing the things, it was more like me having to ask them to do it or telling them to do it during the game. I would like them to just make these decisions on their own without me encouraging them to do things during the game and just letting them doing it and then providing the coaching afterwards.
Joe, once again, we'll close it out. This region, for the first time in a long time, as we said, has gotten some great clubs. North Toronto, West Toronto, you name it, Woodbridge. There's a lot of great clubs that finally have taken the step forward. And this is good to see for a coach like yourself in your region. Talk about that.
I think it's more like the clubs in this particular region have gotten together and provided technical services within their club with a club head coach and technical people, and it's become a more professional environment within the clubs where they're actually receiving not only good coaching from their club coaches, but also from a technical staff and a club head coach perspective. They're getting that experience, and it's transcending into the way they're playing and the kids that they're developing as they move forward.
Well said, Coach Joe. Guys, just before we close it out, I know you three, and you come from a background that is very solid, a family background. Moms and dads do a lot for you three, and they spend a lot of time away to bring you to where you're at. First of all, what would you like to say to your parents and also to the coach that helped you get to where you're at today?
I'd like to thank my mom and my dad for supporting me in everything, not only soccer. And I'd also like to thank my coaches for coaching and being there every practice and not giving up on us.
Their names?
Marko Milanovic, Laza, Joe, Joey. Yeah.
Well said. Vlad?
I'd like to thank my mom and dad. My dad always coming from work early to bring me to practices, and my mom just praying for me and supporting me. And I'd like to thank Coach Joe, Coach Joey, Laza, and Marco as well.
Well said. And the last from Makai Charles with that smile that never goes away. Who would you like to thank?
I'd like to thank my mom for supporting me, and my dad also for taking me to practice, being there for me all the time, any need.
Well said, guys. One day, hopefully, these three young men can represent the province of Ontario under the tutelage of Coach Joe, but more importantly, hopefully one day for Team Canada. Thanks again for joining us on Touchline.